Guys and girls, Kevin Warsh was bad news for the markets. We can see that the Dow is down 800 points since the Fed decision was released. Bitcoin is plummeted by a total of 3.19%. We're back below 65 and actually close to $64,000. The overall prediction that we had for Bitcoin, the base case, is playing out. We said that, look, we're creating a bearish pennant, and usually with this particular pattern, you have these fake outs to grab liquidity, but you end up continuing to the downside. Regardless, I'm in a no trade. I was strictly in a no trade week. Why? Well, the FOMC, Kevin Warsh's stance on monetary policy, completely ambiguous. What will happen with the geopolitics? Completely ambiguous. The interest rate decision in Japan, scary. So I said, hold on, crypto kid. Sometimes the best trade to take is no trade. You have periods where it's super obvious that Bitcoin is going to come crashing down, like what we had when we were at $81,000, and we clearly stated that we're going to crash down to sweep the lows of February. But when you don't have concrete evidence backing a particular direction, then I'm okay to observe, watch markets, and wait until I see at least a 200 daily moving average crossover before going massive long. And for short positions, I already have some existing hedge short positions to my spots, and I'm keeping them. I'm relaxed. I'm observing the markets. What in the world happened with the interest rates? What in the world did Kevin Warsh say? Interest rates stayed the same, 3.75%. I mean, there was a 99.6% probability given by the CME FedWatch group that they would remain where they are. That's exactly what we got. The volatility kicked in with a summary of the Fed decision on the Fed statement and the questions that were answered by Kevin Warsh to the press. First bad thing that resulted in the drop. Half of the Fed officials expected at least one rate hike this year. 50% expecting one rate hike. That's a very hawkish amount. And I'll tell you this, there's actually 19 officials. The 19th official is Kevin Warsh himself, but he refused to cast a vote. He didn't cast a vote. It's quite strategic. This is what it tells you. If Kevin Warsh was to cast a vote, he would become politicized. If he said that he's going to want a rate drop, then people would blame the credibility of the Federal Reserve, which he's so hardly trying to fix. We've not gotten a 2% interest rate for years, and that's been the target. Okay, external factors. I completely agree with Jerome Powell on that one. It wasn't really his fault. But you've lost credibility. And if he was to give a rate cut expectation, then Fed would seem politicized. The dollar would lose value. Kevin Warsh doesn't want that. Kevin Warsh will want to remain apolitical. I'm so happy that he's not bending the knee to the elected officials. Why? Because you're preserving Fed independence. Certain elected officials are not too happy about the hawkishness of Warsh, but we'll get to that in a moment's time. 50%, they expect at least one rate hike. The market is pricing in about 2 rate hikes by the end of Q1 2027. If we don't see interest rates reduce, what do we not see? Liquidity. If we don't see, what do we not get? Altcoin season, Bitcoin super cycle. The Fed lowered its median 2026 US GDP projection from 2.4% to 2.2%. They're seeing less of a growth in GDP. Not good news. The Fed now sees personal consumption expenditure inflation not returning to its 2% target until 2028. The worst of all these points, the following, the one right in front of your eyes. The FOMC take a look at 2 sets of data when deciding the interest rates. The PCE, which is like the CPI, but the basket of goods are concentrated to the things that individuals consume on a daily basis, and then the CPI data. The PCE is at 3.7, projected to reach 4, and that's double the dual mandate. And if you're not going to get rate cuts, or if you're not going to get inflation down to 2% until 2028, well, you're not going to get rate cuts until 2028 or 2029 when I'm crypto grandpa, probably married with kids. Warsh reaffirmed to everyone that he has a commitment to deliver the 2% goal. And that is their thing. So they want to bring inflation to 2%, but they're not expecting it to return to that area until 2028, meaning no significant rate cuts for a while. We're shifting away from the Keynesian model of boom and bust economics. For altcoin holders, which include myself and a portion of my portfolio, which is majority in Bitcoin, we won't get those gains like we got in 2021 without quantitative easing, because altcoins are trophy assets that increase when individuals have extra cash in their pockets. And finally, today's decision to have no rates cut or hiked was a unanimous vote of 12-0. Yeah, very hawkish. President Trump, don't think the guy's too happy about it. I really don't think the guy's too happy about it. I'm happy. The Fed should be doing exactly that. The Fed should be technically hiking rates, ending quantitative easing, and stop printing money, which Warsh seems to be the candidate to perhaps even do. Yeah, and Trump was asked. He was asked on what he thought about the Fed decision. His reply was, all right, that they held the rates, whatever. I think they could even raise the rates. It could happen. If President Trump has accepted the fact that the rates could go up, oh boy. See, Trump explicitly selected Warsh to achieve lower rates. Multiple reports state that he chose Kevin Warsh to run the Federal Reserve to secure an interest rate which is far, 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 far inferior to help fiscal policy. Warsh was viewed as aligned with his goal, but that's not the truth. Oh boy. At the Alfalfa dinner, Trump joked that he might sue Warsh if he didn't lower interest rates as desired. There you go. And the final critical announcements from the overall press conference was that Warsh said overall statements and overall data communication will be shorter, fact-based, and they're not going to give us any signals on what will happen during the FOMC speech. So previously with Powell, we got some idea on what the macro outlook for monetary policy was. They looked at labor data, inflation, AI, and Powell was able to give markets an overall macro view on what they're expecting. But Warsh is a no-go. He wants to leak nothing. He wants the market to take the transparent, published data and judge it as they want to in a free market way. And I respect it. It makes our FOMC press conferences less fun, and it will probably reduce the total amount of FOMC press conferences we receive. I'm sure they're not going to keep it to every interest rate decision will be followed by a press conference. That will change. That will probably change. And they will adjust and reform how data is collected. That's great. I mean, labor data, payroll data, hiring data, these are lagging. Even inflation is lagging. You find out the real inflation, you find out the real job increases revised after a few months, but does that matter? You want the live data now. You need businesses to react to live data. Hopefully, they will reform it so we can get a better way of data collection, and that should be overall fantastic for traders, because you're trading the real thing. You're not trading fake expectations, fake employment figures. Before we conclude, remember that during Powell's term, for 3,055 days, every single speech began with a good afternoon. Warsh changed it. It's now good day. I prefer good afternoon. This is going to be the next topic tomorrow. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a fantastic night. And if you are looking to be trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we did live stream the whole press conference on the Moonshow channel. If you're looking for a place to be following along with daily crypto live streams too, then check out the Moonshow channel. I'm your co-host. If you're searching for an area or an exchange to be trading cryptocurrencies, then you can use the links in the description to get the best bonuses available from our amazing partners who allow these videos to take place. Shout out to all of them. If you want to get the best campaigns available for the crypto kids, then check out the links in the description. You'll get awesome, awesome, awesome bonuses. BTCC is giving the most competitive one at the moment. Second link, email address, password, 30,000 up to 30,000 sign up bonus plus 10% deposit bonus and a discount of 33% in trading fees. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in 24 hours. Bye-bye.